Hi there YouTubers, and tonight's project is this. This is another one I bought from that selection at New Year, and this is a Lone Star Treble-O electric, which was a forerunner to N-Gauge, or what they called N-Gauge, and it's a die-cast body. Unusual coupler for N-Gauge. These are almost like tension lock. One of them is broken, but it looks complete, not too badly damaged. There's no glass in the windows, maybe that's just the way they made them. The body could probably do with a little bit of a touch up on the battery box and so on. Anyway, I'm looking at this and I see some screws through the bogies, so perhaps that's how we can open this up. I do see some screws underneath the bogie here and here, so perhaps by removing the bogie it will allow access to the rest of the machine. Okay, let me just find my little screwdriver. This is coming out easy enough. Long screw the collar, and the drive mechanism appears to be a couple of rubber bands. Oh, sorry. I'd heard people tell about rubber bands. So I'd imagine at this length of time it might be worthwhile trying to replace them. But I see here two screws which I'm going to remove in an effort to open up the body and take the casing off. So what's that? Oh, there we are. There's the casing coming off. Fine there, and now let's have a look at the inside. That won't help any. Stuck into the middle of the motor. Right. And there's another one. So I don't know where those come from, but obviously they've been picked up and been pulled in through the magnetism of the motor. Okay, let me see if I can apply power. And I'm thinking that these two leads here are probably the two poles. So I've got that there. Is that running okay? Just check it. Yep. So I'm just try and get power in here, and power in there across the suppressor. And it seems to be... Oops! Hang on folks, I forgot I've got another machine running on test. Right, let me try again. And put the power on here, and here, and yeah, there is something happening. Okay, I'm going to remove this rubber band at this end. And this rubber band at the other end, just to alleviate the pressure on the motor, because it probably needs a good clean. And it's certainly got life in it. There's certainly life in this old baby. Right, I wonder what a good wee touch of lubrication and cleaning would do. Okay, Okay. Wee touch of oil, wee brush. See what happens. Right, try again. This little baby still has some life in her. Yep. So I'm going to turn her upside down and I'll try apply it across the wheels, because I think these must have pickups. I can't see where the pickups actually are. Okay, I'm going to just give it a nice wee clean, get the rubber bands checked out, get it all assembled, and we'll see how it goes from there. I'm always interested in how different manufacturers get the systems to work. And of course, being of an era, I'm interested in how model trains were built in the 60s. One thing I notice is none of your soldering lark is hand fitted, screwed in there, so that each side of the bogie is a pickup, and the insulated wheels are actually touching the bogie sides, and that gives the continuity from the track through the wheels onto the side of the bogie, through the wire to the motor. It's the same on both sides. So I've cleaned as best I can the bogie sides to provide better continuity. I'll give a wee bit of lubrication into these little channels here where the hubs will sit, but certainly the machine works pretty well off load. So just using these screws from the pickups, I should be able to get the motor to turn. So there's the motor going. I've no idea how long it's been sitting idle before I managed to get it. So I think, my guess is it's probably been sitting a while because of the dust in it. And those two pins stuck in the mechanism certainly weren't going to help. Let me try in reverse. And that's pretty good. I'm going to see what happens when I adjust the voltage, see how low I can get it. That, according to my meter, is about 3 volts. Maybe nearer 4. Down to 3. And it's still running pretty well. And take it up. That doesn't look too bad at all, does it? Well, my next task to try and get the wheels and the rubber bands all connected up. Okay, let's see how I get on with that. Well, since I left you, I've managed to track down some traction tyres. These are HO gauge made by Loco, and they are about 11 millimeters in diameter. So let's take one out and have a wee look. Comparing it to the original drive belt, they look as if they may be smaller, but I'm bearing in mind that these have perished. You might be able to hear the rain battering on the roof of my little tin shed, so the weather has definitely taken a turn for the worst. But as these have perished and therefore stretched, I'm going to try these to see how they work. I've located the drive belts and the inner axles, so I'm going to test to see if it's still working. And that looks good, and I'm just checking the fact that the wheel sets are rotating in the same direction. That's going that way. I think the wheels are going in the opposite directions. Okay. Right, I think they're going the opposite directions. Let me just check this out. If the drive is coming up and over, then it's turning this way. The drive is going up and over, turning this way. Yeah, it should be okay. Should be okay. There we go. I would imagine that it's probably needing a good running, because it would not have been run for many a long year. If you remember at the beginning of the video, I extricated 2 pins which have got themselves drawn in. These things here are 2 of them. Got themselves drawn into the mechanism. It's quite a powerful magnet. And once I cleared them, give it a little lubrication. You have to be careful lubricating these axles, these spindles, apologies, because it could actually work its way along the shaft. So I think what I'll do is maybe apply a little bit of grease rather than oil. I've lubricated the spindle bearings here and here. Put a little bit of grease in the axle location holes. Hey, that's definitely not bad, is it? For how many years old? Come on, baby. There we go. Yeah. Well, the rain stopped, so I got my little Lone Star on the track, and I'm just going to apply some power to see if she'll run. And away she goes, first time. Oh, isn't that good? A bit sticky around there, but then the track's a bit sticky after the wet night. Oh, look at that. Oh, come on, that's good, isn't it? Whoops. Typical. Right, let's see what's the matter there. Maybe just the point. Yeah, could just be on the point. This time I'll bring it round, bring it to a stop, and see if she'll go in the opposite direction. So, turning the power up, and away she goes. Yeah. Oh, a Lone Star EL60. Well, after running my little Lone Star around the track a few times and seeing it stop and stall for no apparent reason, I actually came to the conclusion that my so-called repair actually wasn't doing it very much good. Again, it's my points, so I'll just get it moving again. Yep, there we go. Because I think that the traction tyres I'd fitted were probably too tight. So I've had to replace the original drive bands in place of the traction belts. My next task will try and source some new drive belts, because that is looking quite good. just need a good bit of care. Remove the couple of nails that have been stuck in the armature, and just get a good old lubrication. And so at least 2 of these drive belts are obviously working, and I think 3 of them are, but one of them is definitely perished. But hey, that's looking good. Right, well let's do what I usually do and get the colour on again. The more astute of you might have noticed, in fact one of the couplers has broken, and as I speak I'm waiting on a delivery from a retailer on eBay with a couple of Lone Star rolling stock which have good couplers, and I'm just going to replace one of them with my locomotive. Isn't that looking good? Let's see if I can reduce the power a little bit. And it's going round to a halt. We'll have a good look at the 5000. There we go. A Sulzer Type 2, built in about 1958. The running number D5000, with the crest of the lion holding the wheel in a circle. The paintwork is looking a bit tardy, but I can discuss that shortly. Here we go. This is the one I removed with the broken hook on it. This is the one I retrieved from the EL61, and this is the bogie. There's a little support bar made of plastic at the back so that it provides a spacing, and the coupling mechanism fits into the front. You see those little square recesses, one here and one on the other side, and then the bogie halves are simply squeezed together and lined up, making sure that everything is quite square. And now I can replace the screw and the washer. It seemed like an awful lot of kerfuffle for trying to do a simple task like that. I'm just making sure that both halves are okay. Yep, they seem to be the same orientation, so I'm just going to insert this screw. And there's my tension lock hook. So all I have to do now is reassemble into here, fixing the wires, and then inserting the wheels and the drive belts. I'll have to fix the wires before I fix the bogie into the assembly, because as you can see I won't have access to the screw heads. Now, I mentioned that I obtained the baby Deltic, and the same seller provided a little box of these spare drive bands, and I had a quick look. They contain the 4-wheel axles from the baby Deltic, so I'll just put them to one side. Because what I'm left with are pristine drive belts. So I'm going to put 2 of these onto here in place of the ones which I removed. Well, do you know what I've done? Is I saw on eBay a little lot for a pack of neoprene sleeves. These are 10mm diameter sleeves, and the seller said that they would be suitable for Lone Star locos. So I took one of the sleeves and I sliced off bands to fit on here. So these 4 bands have actually been sliced off here. They're not all the same thickness, unfortunately, because it's quite difficult, but I've done my best to do that, to get them right, I should say. Anyway, let's see what happens, because I did test it and it seemed to be working pretty well. Look at that. This is a 60-year-old locomotive with new neoprene bands. Had a wee bit of lubrication, but that's looking pretty good. Turn the power up just a little bit more, and there's not a lot wrong with that one, is there? Let's turn the direction. Let's change the direction. And there we go. We're going to apply power now and see if she'll move without any coaxing. And there we go. Well, can't complain about that one, can we? Come on, keep going, there we go. All the way around without any hesitation. That jutting is probably my track that's causing the problem, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. And this time we'll bring it to a stop and we'll try and get it in the opposite direction. So let's see what happens when I try to reverse the direction. Yep. Not a lot wrong with that. So, really, what at the end of the day, it was the belts causing the main problem. A little bit of lubrication, checking out everything, but other than that, that's fine. So when it comes round again, I'll get the body shell on and see if we can hook it up to some Lone Star wagons. I don't know what happened there, I think I must have pressed the zoom button. Anyway, let me just get it hooked up and we'll let it run. I'm just going to do a couple of final manoeuvres with my little Lone Star EL60. I'm just going to bring her back and see if she'll couple up to the shell tanker, which should be about there. Okay, and bring it forward, there we go. So just come out and have a look. So as I said before, I'm very pleased to have got it working. And my next question is, what do I do with it? It certainly doesn't fit with anything else I have. To me, I would say maybe someone who collects Lone Star might be interested in this. So I think I shall put it on eBay or somewhere like that, because I think it deserves to be given a good home. And join another Lone Star collection. Yes, I think that's probably what I would do. I think it would be selfish of me to maintain her, to keep her from somebody else who might collect these things. Maybe you're a Lone Star collector, enthusiast. Get in touch, give me a comment, and we can negotiate something or other. Okay, so what happened here? New belts, bit of lubrication, couple of tacks were stuck to the magnetic casing of the motor, so I don't think that would have helped anywhere. Probably drawn up through the gaps in the chassis. and that would not have helped at all. So a bit of loving care, TLC, new belts, and away she goes, probably as good as any. I haven't tried to do anything with the bodywork. I've been toying with the idea of going into spray painting, but I haven't done anything about it yet. Okay, well, thanks for watching, and I hope that you liked that one. And the usual thing, give me a comment, subscribe, but most important of all, keep watching YouTube. Thank you. Oh, I've mucked that up, haven't I? Oh well. Bye for now.